So we got the first movie to be released in Dolby. That's right, in Dolby this year, Knock at the Cabin. But is it any good? We'll talk. Alright, how you doing today? It's just here. Hope you're having a good day. And today, yes, so we got Knock at the Cabin. Is this movie worth going in Dolby? Honestly, probably that really depends on you. Some scenes fully utilize the sound effects, especially in Dolby, had me jumping out of my seats in that format. The movie looks crisp, bigger screen than the traditional ones that you can also see this movie format in. It is nice, but overall, let's be honest, I feel like 75% of the people do not need to go see this movie in Dolby, even though it is more of a narrative film, so they can see it in the traditional sense. But for here, for YouTube, for me, for my love for the theaters, and for reviewing you, giving you the biggest and best reviews, we will always go to watch any movie in the most premium theater format possible, not just for the review, but of course because we love theaters here. So Knock at the Cabin is the newest film from M. Night Shyamalan, loosely based on the book. I mean loosely based on the book because it is based on the book, but it literally makes drastic changes, especially towards the second half of that book. This is another movie where the less you know, the better. You probably know the name M. Night Shyamalan because he did literally The Sixth Sense, as well as the critically acclaimed Split with James McAvoy and Anya Taylor-Joy. Now Split, I feel like that is a movie that a lot of people like knew him. Like that was his movie breakout moment. And I don't want to say his breakout moment. I'm saying for like the mainstream popular audience, because I still was in school when Split came out, and a lot of people were like, bro, like you gotta see this movie, it's scary. This was before I think like TikTok and stuff, so Split was definitely like the forefront of like, oh my gosh, like we know who this guy is, we need to talk about him. And 2 years ago he did Old, and to be honest with you, Old was still, and even now watching this movie, Old is still my favorite out of his like film choreography. And we also did a review on this YouTube channel, Old, and I'll link below. That was our first year starting YouTube. It was 2 years ago. It is a messy video, but nonetheless you can still watch it. So he is kind of known for his crazy, wacky, twisted twists in his movies, but I feel like for this movie it works a little bit backwards. After 30 minutes you know the twist, and it's like working backwards than a traditional movie that you're going up to the twist. So in this movie it really like is going backwards. This is not an action movie, but more of an adult narrative driven dramatic scenes with the whole cast, but I feel like it doesn't live up to his previous work. Let me explain. So Knock on the Cabin is a psychological, mystery, suspenseful, apocalyptic film about a family who has to make a terrible, scary decision. Not only affects them, but the people around them as well as humanity. And it's cool because one of the Bautista's lines, he plays as Leonard, which he is from Chicago, by the way. And I was like, shout out my city. I'm like, yeah, Chicago, because we're literally in the northwest of Chicago, and Bautista is like the leader of this folk group. So he's like part of humanity, has to make a choice. And it's this like constant, you need to make a choice, back and pull of the rest of the movie. You get to learn more about these characters. Rupert, Grint, happy to see him back. Haven't seen him since like Harry Potter. I mean, he's done like a number of smaller indie films, but I haven't seen that. He plays as Redmond. He's like the hot-headed of the group. We got Abby Quinn, beautiful, gorgeous actress, by the way, plays as Adrian. She feels like the mother. And then Nikki, Amuka-Bird, plays as Sabrina, which feels like she is the caring one. And I'm sorry if I botched those names. I really don't know how to pronounce all of them. But, and these four people that knock on the cabin, hey, we're here to help you make a choice. Now, it is us as the viewer to be like, yeah, I guess we can believe you, I guess we don't believe you, and there is some like dialogue to help us choose if we should believe them or not. I was in the camp that yeah, I believe them, not just because it's a movie, because why? I mean, otherwise, what was the point of us not believing them? But it's these main characters that have to believe them. Now, we got Eric, Andrew, and Wen, which is the people staying at the cabin, and throughout the rest of the movie, you get to learn everything. More backstory on the four people who showed up to the cabin, and even scenes showing flashbacks of them arriving at the cabin, even adopting Wen, that is crucial for us to know. So as the movie progresses, it switches from present to backstory of the couples and as well as the main cast to show us, hey, like these guys, could they be targeted? Why them? Like, is it just because they're a same-sex couple? So it also speaks to like society at large, like why them? You know, and the movie does explain it to us, but towards the end. And I really liked it because I was oblivious to like all the deeper meanings, the deeper knowledge, the connection to the Bible, because they say that God's gonna rain down earth, judge humanity, and a lot of people could interpret that in a different way because Bautista says one of his lines, part of humanity has been judged. And when you hear that, I think of Bible. I think of Bible verses, and I'm not saying that religion doesn't play a fact in this movie, but it is more of a dramatic, tensional movie. Yeah, there is a rated R rating, and people do die, and you see some of it, but I feel like they didn't push the R rating too much because sometimes like there is blood and gore, but not in the terms of the other scary demonic movies. I feel like the scares for this movie comes in the terms of the apocalyptic apocalyptic that could happen. And when I say it could happen, I don't want to ruin it for you in case you see it or not, because it could happen, it could not, but there is some intentional moments that, let's just say, the world around them, every time the movie progresses, of course you've seen in the trailers that if they don't make a choice, apocalyptic things could happen. And some of the most scary things that could happen in real life now, as I'm recording this, literally could happen. I'm just like such in awe of what the movie showed us, because I'm like, damn, like if that's what the writers thought apocalyptic, I wonder what God thinks, or just other, you know, other things that could happen. I'm just like, wow, because the movie shows us it now, and I looked down, I was like, damn, dude, that is kind of sad, that is kind of scary of what could happen to us. I feel like every time they show about the apocalyptic, about the world ending, I feel like they always keep it at arm's length. You know, it's never really shown to us. I mean, it is, but it's not like we're there. It just shows glimpses of what could happen. But the main of the story is the movie that really, most of the movie takes place on this cabin, which is like flashbacks, as well as the world around them with the apocalyptic settings that could happen, but probably not. M. Night Shyamalan, I like him, but I feel like this doesn't trump his other work. I'm gonna give this a solid C, especially in Dolby. I had a good time with it. I thought it was just okay, alright. I mean, I really like his other work more, and it's hard to replicate that because I feel like I don't want to say he reached his peak, but I'm glad this movie exists. But anyway, I appreciate you so much. If you made it this far, please hit that like button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video, and maybe consider subscribing. Take care, bye.